Hi, super loved one. Welcome back. I was just sitting in my house at my desk playing with the cards, and I already recorded the super loved relationship update for the coming week, which starts on Monday, 18 May. And I just felt called to talk about fear. Fear is a subject that has been coming up quite a lot lately in my conversations with people. And it's brought me to this moment where I began to question, like, what what is it we exactly fear? And sometimes we fear things that we're not even aware of our fear. And sometimes what we believe we're afraid of is not what we are really afraid of. So, I'm a student of A Course in Miracles, and A Course in Miracles teaches us that there's only two emotions, basically, love and fear. And only love is real because love comes from God or source energy. It's like the ultimate light. And fear is everything we've added on to love, everything we have created, everything we believe in. And the question has been posed, what are we afraid of? And are we acting from fear of one thing? Or is it possible that there's also faith in something bigger, better, that's shining through, maybe acting from fear? So fear has become a word. I know there's already some abbreviations, or it's been the basis for abbreviations. And I've decided that for me in this moment, it means feeling everything and relax. So I feel everything and relax, because when you feel good, you feel good. But when fear comes up, it's showing you there is something to clear. And that's what I wanted to look into, basically. So how can we clear fear? I'm going to take a look at some general themes. And of course, you can definitely apply this to a love relationship you have, because the love relationships are the areas of our lives where we learn our greatest lessons, where we face our biggest exposure, if that's what you can call it. Anything we are afraid of, we feel ashamed of, where we want to hide, we want to cover up, it's showing up in our relationships. So definitely apply feeling everything and relax into your love relationship. But if you find that you are more concerned with the situation in the world today, we are in lockdown. Most of the world is in lockdown due to the coronavirus. And of course, that can be scary and stressful. So that can definitely, cause us to feel fearful of whatever, a virus, or maybe the consequences of being in lockdown. So feeling everything and relax is going to be the mantra for that. So having said this, you can apply it to the world situation, you can apply this to your personal situation, and my intention is for this video to be timeless. So whenever you come across this and you feel like maybe you're experiencing some fear in your life, maybe you have a difficult choice to make, maybe people don't agree with you, maybe you are debating whether to take a new job, move house, get married, or get a divorce, all these things. Every change we live through can cause us to feel fearful, and this spread is here to help you feel everything and relax. Having said that, which themes are the most important themes for us to take a look at right now? I'm not an astrologer, but we are in a time in a year where we have a lot of planets that are retrograde, which is making 2020 like a special year, a turnaround year, with a lot of questions, a lot of karmic situations that are being asked to resolve. So we are being asked to resolve those situations or feelings. A lot of structures that are being evaluated and overthrown, perhaps. So that's causing a lot of uncertainty as well. So I like to use moonology. Full moon in Scorpio. Well, we've had a full moon last week, a new moon in Aquarius, and a full moon in Capricorn. So 2 full moons, 1 new moon. It's time to release negativity, bring love into the situation, and the end of a tough cycle approaches. Well, basically we have the whole cycle here. It starts with releasing negativity. Then when we are doing that, we can bring more love into a situation, because when we're filled with fear, it's very difficult to take a different perspective. And so once we are able to bring love into the situation, our viewpoint may change, alter a bit, or it may become more relaxed. And then we can see that the end of a tough cycle approaches. Now, the cycle, again, it could be something for you in your personal life, a relationship or a job or a belief system that you are done with. It could be something on a larger scale, like the world scale, because there's a lot going on. The energy around the planet Earth also is very, it's very fearful, it's dense in a lot of places. And it's like, sometimes when I go out, I walk around and I see people walking around, and there's a lot of, people are not shining, people are not glowing. It's like there's this gray blanket of energy that's covering many, many people. It's fear, it's holding back, it's not being in touch with who we really are. So feeling everything and relax means we have to look at what we are being negative about and feel it, and then release it so we can bring more love into it. And that's always easier said than done, because you might be extremely afraid of getting ill, or of losing your job, or seeing your company going bankrupt and not knowing what's next. It's very understandable that fear comes up. So what can you let us know, or what can you tell us about the themes that are already on the table, talking about it's time to release negativity? The hanging one we get for the negativity, bringing love into the situation. What can you tell us about releasing fear as far as the love situation is concerned? The Tower. Yeah. Well, I already see why I felt drawn to talking about fear and actually doing this spread. We get 3 light cards. This deck is an oracle deck, but it's based on the Major Arcana Tarot, and it's giving us the entire Major Arcana, the light version and the dark version. And we are getting the light version of the Hanged One, so the Hanged Man, the Tower, and Transformation, which is death. And we have been stuck for a long time in a certain phase. And so in this deck, this guy, I'm pulling him up, I hope you can see him a little bit. He does not seem too concerned about hanging here, because he knows it's time for him to just wait and feel and sort of, how do I put this into words? It's like spiritual knowledge actually integrating in his system, which takes time. He's becoming enlightened while he's hanging here. It's a time of being stuck, maybe, and I can imagine people feeling stuck, being in lockdown and having all these restrictions and measurements and rules and regulations. So we could feel stuck, but it's in the surrender of being stuck and hanging here and accepting this situation as a moment where we can actually release the fear, that we can release the fear. Because when we do that, we will see that a lot of the old things that we were believing in will be overthrown. And that's scary because it's a big change and it could happen very sudden. Like the Tower is not like a subtle movement where you know, all of us, where you just easily, slowly slide from one situation into a new situation where you have a lot of time to adjust. No, the tower is a wake-up call, and it's overthrowing ideas and belief systems. It's not so much about the physical structure, although sometimes it does indicate that, but it's mostly systems of ideas, systems of beliefs that are being enlightened, that are, like destroyed to make room for new. So we need to bring love into the situation, because this can be difficult. It can be a shock. It can be an alteration, and that can stir up fear. But also here, we are being asked to feel everything, every moment of we have like, what is it called? Like when your heart rate goes up, when you're terrified, when you're like, oh my God, oh, I never knew this, oh my God. Stay with that feeling of surprise, of wonder, of disgust, of maybe it feels like you're falling into a black hole. Stay with the feeling, feel everything, and relax, because you will get out of it. All of this is leading to the end of a tough cycle that's approaching. And this is the death card, the transformation card. And I absolutely adore this card, because this man is walking away from a situation that's no longer working, and he's walking towards the light. So it's this beautiful transition, very smoothly, very convincingly. He's not scared, he's on his way, and he's doing it. So he is definitely moving from a tough cycle into a new cycle. And this is a major change. It's a major change. So feel everything that's coming up for you in this major change, and stay with it, because it's about releasing your ideas, feeling your new self, because once you let go of an old idea, you are being reborn a little bit, like a new version of you arises, because you have space for a new idea. You have the room for a new way of looking at a situation or at life, and that's beautiful. So, and that will also become like more physical. Like Capricorn is an earth sign, so it will be tangible. It will be not just like this spiritual, energetic idea of letting fear go, but it will feel like a physical transition. And it's okay as long as you're staying with whatever it is you are feeling, because it will bring up some things. All right, I'm going to ask the tarot, do you have any additional information about the fear? Things that we need to know about it? Is there any additional information about the scenario that's here? Because it's big, it's feeling big, and that's probably the reason I felt called to talk about it. Yeah, this makes sense. This card, the Two of Swords, is about being stagnant. It's about being stuck in a situation, like the Hanging Man. Only in this card, it is your own stuckness. It's your own inability to put down the swords and take off the blindfold. So the fear is coming from our own, not just inability, because, sometimes it is inability to see something, but it's also us not being willing so far to see. So if you break down the whole thing that's happening in the world which is like this big spiritual transformation, moving from an old era into a new era, which is beautiful, and it's very hopeful, and it's going to be amazing. But if you look at it from your individual point of view, being one person who can feel completely overwhelmed by our powerlessness and the fact that as one person we cannot really do a lot to change the world. That's the feeling that we have, and we are holding that up. You see also in this card, the hands are across the chest, so it's closing off the heart chakra. So it's sort of taking away or making small one's own power. So there's no real belief in oneself here. It's more about just staying put where we are, staying stagnant because that feels safe, that's what we know. So it's very fearful because the Page of Cups is like the opposite almost to me. The Page is a new, young, fresh energy of a fresh new start. He brings the message of love. He can bring a message of forgiveness or an apology maybe. He is willing, he has, one cycle has closed, like from 1 to 10 in the tarot and the cups, that cycle you've had, and then the first next step you have is the Page. So the Page is like the new clean slate, the next step up. And this is exactly what we're afraid of, because this is asking us to open our hearts and to take a whole different view. And once we do that, we might see that we have been deceived, or that we have been victorious, or that others have been victorious, but at what cost? And that's fearful. That's scary, because then you are back to the question, but what can I do? What can I do? So what can we do? What can we do to feel everything and relax? So what can we do to feel everything and relax? We get the 5 of Pentacles, the 7 of Wands, and the 6 of Pentacles. So the fives are always difficult cards. They talk about change, and change is not easy. You know, change can be difficult. It means letting go. It means uncertainty. It means not being able to see around the corner. It means feeling deprived of things sometimes. So we need to dive into those feelings and sort of feel the way we feel, but not let them take us down, because we get the 7 of Wands, and the 7 of Wands is about standing your ground. It's about being defensive in a way. So if you are moving through your fears and you come to this new level of understanding where you're able to open your heart to the new message and the gentleness and the harmony that's there in the heart space, you might need to defend your position, because there's many other people who might not be there yet. And hopefully they will be there soon. And there's a lot of indications that they will. But for the moment, the question we're being asked is to stand our ground and know that with our message of trusting and love, we can help people, because the next step will be a new division, a new balance. And this is 6 of Pentacles, so this is about material stuff, this is about money, this is about food, houses, mortgages, faring well in the material world. There will be a new equilibrium, and things will be divided up in a whole new way. And this is like the vision we can open up to, if we stand our ground because we believe in this, we see this coming, and this is also what we can talk about to other people and to our partners, because maybe this applies to a relationship. And in your relationship, it's very difficult to grow sometimes, because growth means change. So if you have a new insight that overthrows your world and you are moving into a new phase, like your partner may not have gone through the same exact cycle. So he or she may be like, what? What's going on with you? And that's difficult. And that's why we're being asked to stand our ground, because we are being presented a vision of a new situation, a new way of being. And that could very well be in your relationship. So let's see what energy is blocking us as far as facing our fears is concerned. What energy is blocking us when we are facing our fears? Can you still see that? Let me move that to the side a little bit. What energy is blocking us when we are trying to face our fears? The Queen of Swords, the Seven of Cups, and the Temperance card. Yeah. So the Queen of Swords is about being honest, being truthful, about seeing the whole picture, about communicating truth and having achieved clarity. And achieving clarity is difficult because you see, she's in this picture. Let me hold her up. And actually, I'm going to hold the Seven of Cups right there. She has the clouds right here. But the top part of the card is blue sky, clear blue sky. So she has a clear head. She's very clear-headed. But that might be difficult if your fears are keeping you stuck in all of these different choices or emotions. The Seven of Cups talks about, making a choice, but it can also talk about living in a fantasy land, or about daydreaming, or about not being able to get your head straight, because feelings can very much confuse our clarity. So what it needs to get to this clarity is where the Temperance card comes in, and that's like an alchemistic process of bringing together like masculine and feminine energies, yin and yang, the power of action and the patience and kindness and intuition of the feminine energy. And that this might be difficult. We might feel like we're very stuck in these emotions, and that's actually, this is a big block. So having said that, so here we have some blocking energies. Let's see what energies are supporting us when we are dealing with fear. Dealing with fear, what is supporting us when we're dealing with fear? I'm just going to put it right here. Dealing with fear, supporting us, dealing with fear. Yeah, so what's supporting us is focusing on what it is you want to do and work on it. So if your choice is, I want to deal with the fear and let it go, that's what you can focus on, and that's very supported. And it's very helpful also if you do it with other people who are like-minded, like your soul group, your friends. It can be your family, it could even be people at work. But if you really find some people that you can connect with to talk about this process and talk about where we are moving towards. And this is also the Queen of Pentacles. She's a mature woman who is very stable. She's very successful. She's accomplished. She's calm. She is steady. She has everything going for her in the world. She is, she's able to take matter or earth, ground, and just earth and turn it into gold. And so we are able to go through this process and take the flimsy emotion, if you can say it like that, and turn it into something that you can easily control and be relaxed about it. You know, it's no longer hanging up in the air like, oh my God, I feel so overwhelmed. It's coming down, it's calming down, and it's coming down to a place where you can actually grasp it and be like, you know what? I can hold you in my hand. I can look at you. I can see you, but you are not controlling me. I am controlling you. And I feel very, very strongly that that energy is very supportive of us in the coming days and weeks, actually, because this is not done yet. So actually, I might return with another video on this subject, but for now, I feel like I would like to end it with a general message. What is the best message or the best advice you have for us when talking about this? Resistance. Beautiful. This is exactly, we might be facing resistance from other people, but as soon as you learn about your own fear, about where it comes from and what it's rooted into, you can pull it out, root and all, and you can trust that no matter how forceful the powers in your surroundings are that are trying to control you or keep the fear in place, because it could also be like the news, the media, the government, whatever, it will still, your truth and your understanding will still grow. No matter how hard they are being squashed, they will still grow. So that is, yeah, it's beautiful. This card is letting you know that no resistance will stop your process, because growth is happening whether we like it or not. So if we are getting into this feel everything and relax mode, it's just gonna make the resistance less, at least in yourself. The path, yeah. We are being asked to follow our path. And our path is a path of ascension. And it's basically the same thing to me as the hanged man. Like, this is where we are now. Let me hold it up. And there's this ladder going up to like a portal. And you can reach up and you can enter this whole new level of consciousness or awareness or, living, basically. It doesn't matter. So trust that the path is there, no matter how fearful you might feel, because there is really no way in which this can go wrong. Because no matter what choice you make, you are never wrong. You're just learning a different lesson if you make a different choice. And lessons might repeat itself if you are choosing to learn a lesson not quite yet, which is fine because that's your choice. One last card, please. Gratitude. Well, isn't that funny that in a world where we have to keep our distance and everybody is talking about social distance and not touching each other, and this is the card that we get. Gratitude. So talk about also what you are grateful of, because it will help your mindset stay positive. It will help distract you from fear. And also in a situation where you feel, where you're likely to feel, because I don't know if you do, but where you're likely to feel isolated because of the social distancing, gratitude is a beautiful practice that will help you feel closer to the people you love. And you don't have to touch them physically, not at all. You don't even have to see them. You could just do this on your own, in your home, whenever you feel like it. And whether you light a candle or whether you maybe write them a lovely card and send it, there's always time for gratitude, because this is forging the connection. It's forging the connection. So remember, you are never alone. And if you are so brave to face your fear, to feel everything and relax into what you are feeling, you are able to bring love into the situation by making more room for it, and you will feel that the end of a tough cycle is approaching. I hope this was helpful for you, and I look forward to see you again next time. Bye!